If you watched our last couple of episodes, you know that our windlass broke and we're still chasing issues. In this episode, we're waking up to a new day and new hope for repairs.
Welcome to G&T Sailing. If you're new here, I'm Gretchen and this is Tim. We've spent the last 2 years refitting Felicita, our Catalina 42, and have finally launched our sailing dream. We don't care where we go, we just care that we go, and we're glad you're coming along for the ride. Going hiking today here in San Juanico, and we're going early before the wind comes up and we're all trapped on our boats. One of the things on this beach is a cruiser shrine, so we're going to check that out.
There's a cool farm at this anchorage that grows produce for the homes in the area. The farmer was kind enough to give us a tour.
I'm in sync with the earth, 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'm a ride for the squad, let up ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap, got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, do that ass survive, doing 80 to the house, then I hit her to the sky, change haters on a tirade, talking to their crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe, I wanna live like I'm trying to reach a light.
So it's kind of hilarious. Our friends on Delaware Girl, they are also having windlass issues, but their issue is that they just put in a new windlass and the deck fitting that the chain drops down and comes up through the deck, it's just off a little bit. And so Charlie is on his deck right now with our Dremel tool, filing that out to make the hole the right size, while Tim is here using Charlie's vise to create the right size of bolt for our windlass. So it's resolving windlass issues day here in San Juanico.
This screw right here is the problem with the solenoid for the windlass. Can't tighten it up and get the wires connected correctly. And it's a 8mm bolt screw. Our friends on Viva had metric set of screws, so he got me one, but it's too long. So now I got to cut this off to that length because it can't go in very far to make contact inside the box.
So these threads are stripped.
Those threads are gone. And our friends on Delaware Girl had this really cool vise, which we need to get one of. So I'm going to cut this screw off.
This morning we opted to get going at 7 a.m. to get a hike in because we knew that the same north winds we had yesterday were gonna resurface this afternoon. So we wanted to do our on land stuff before the wind kicked up, and right on time at about 10:45, the wind kicked up and here we are, rocking and rolling around in the anchorage. We have a few strategies that we employ whenever we're in a really heavy blow in the anchorage. Obviously, we try to have at least 5-to-1 scope out, and sometimes more if we've got room to have more. And we really trust our spade anchor. We have a 55-pound spade. We carry 200 feet of chain and 200 feet of rode. So right now we're anchored in about 22 feet of water, and we have like 110 out. We always put a snubber on. We put a snubber on all the time with chafe guard. We do that no matter how heavy the wind is. We also keep the anchor locker open in case we were needing to weigh anchor quickly. It's already open and all ready to go. We always cover our Dodger panels. However, if it's blowing really hard, so we always have at least one of the panels open so that we would have visibility. So if we have a lee shore or something behind us that we want to kind of be aware of and we're concerned about dragging, we have an anchor alarm set on an app on the phone, so we use that. But then we'll also go into the chart plotter and put a waypoint on a fixed point around us and record what is the distance between us and that waypoint. And we might do that on a couple of fixed points around. And so then that way, if we're sort of wondering, we can go back and check that distance between where we are and the waypoint to see if we're dragging at all. So those rocks right there are the rocks that we have that waypoint that's 0.17 miles away. Is we keep the key in the ignition. If we're dragging, one of the first things we would do is let out more chain, assuming that we've got room to let out more chain. But if we really needed to, if that was not solving the problem, then we could turn the engine on and we could be maneuvering the boat while we're trying to haul up the anchor and use the engine to keep the boat in a safe place.
There it is.
So what are you doing?
Cleaning all the gunk off of all these connections, screws.
So what's a solenoid do for the people in YouTube land?
It's an electrical switch that takes a small amount of current here with the control wires and closes the solenoid is a magnetic thing, it just closes. And then there's bigger wires with a lot more amps going through them, goes through the solenoid. It's a relay is what it is. So you take a small amount of current to switch on and off a large amount of current.
And we need a large amount of current to run the windlass, yeah.
So this comes from the foot pedal. You got to up and a down. That's what this is it just says go this direction. When you press the down arrow, it closes a solenoid between there. When you close the up arrow, it closes a solenoid between there.
And so the fact that this one wasn't working.
Yeah, all three of these are super important. This is the big positive from the battery. And
that was the screw that was stripped.
But any one of the screws will fit anywhere. You need all three of them.
So we could have used these two. Like
and
we could have chosen
direction.
one direction.
Exactly. So I'm gonna put new silicone grease on all these connections. Go hook this back up, and it's so windy right now. We don't want to attempt. I mean, we could attempt to pull the anchor up, but then if it doesn't work, we got to go through all the rigmarole of putting it back down manually. So I'm sure you don't want to do that.
Not in this wind.
So we'll wait till a less windy day. The ultimate test is if this pulls up the anchor.
To be clear, we are really gentle when we are hauling up the anchor. We wait till there's slack in the chain before we continue forward. We don't just hit the windlass and use the windlass to haul the boat toward the chain. And so it's not like we've been doing that and wore things out. That's not the source of the problem.
No, I really do believe this is just years of corrosion. I mean, it's very corrosive.
Yeah. Should we put a towel down or something on our sheets?
Get the vacuum and pull up. It's on your side anyway. So.
Wait, what happened?
I dropped the freaking bolt down in the
bow belly.
So we gotta take the whole bed apart and all the shit out of there because it's probably gonna fall all the way down to the bottom and dig the bolt out.
Okay, well that's fun. Almost there, huh?
Here's what needs to happen. I need my meter first. Then we'll turn the brake around. We'll measure voltages over here.
Yep.
And then you're gonna have to go up.
Yep.
And hit you have to loosen the line that's holding the rolling hitch on.
Yep.
And you're just gonna want to bump it down and bump it back up, and that's all we can do.
See if the motor is running today.
And in the right direction. I think I hooked the wires up correctly.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 14.3.
Oh, that's way better. One of the things that is tricky in the cruising life, especially in these sort of more remote places is trash management. And so there are a lot of like van life people who are camping on the beach, and so someone in this area has put trash barrels, and the trash gets collected, so we're taking advantage of the trash barrels and offloading our garbage. So now we're gonna see if the windlass works.
And we're just gonna pull up the anchor like we always would, and if all goes well, I'll bring it all the way up, and then you can just tool around and we'll just drop it or whatever.
Okay. All right, so are we gonna just not do it then? Okay. So Tim just said it's doing the same thing. We're gonna miss you.
Tim, can I help you with anything? Do you need any help?
Nope, it's all back together. Now the reverse button doesn't work. The solenoid probably did take a shit or something.
Shit.
So you know what? We're going to San Carlos.
Yeah, you're going to be there on Monday. So.
Yeah. Okay, what are we gonna try this time?
Fucking boat just kicks our ass non-stop. Well, you posted a very nice
Request
Facebook.
for help.
There was a lot of suggestions. The electrical one obviously was the one that we went for first, and it was bad, so that needed to be done. That is done. We tried to lift the anchor up, and it's still the same thing. It just grabs, but then the clutch, it's exactly like a clutch is just saying, nope, it's too much. I'm going to let go now. So there's a couple of suggestions on there that take it apart, and there's a Bellevue washer. But one guy said, same thing happened to him. He loosened the clutch up all the way with. See how loose? And that's as tight as I can get it.
It is the mass exodus out of this anchorage. It's so funny. After a norther, everybody's hunkered down for the norther, and then as soon as it's over, it is like everybody just moves on out. We are staying here though for one more day because we've got a good weather window tomorrow to head up to San Carlos. It looks like we've got downwind sailing the whole way tomorrow.
Join us next time as we make our last passage of the season, bound for San Carlos.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you catch all the episodes of our first season cruising in Mexico. And head over to Instagram for real-time updates. Check out our tracker and more details about our cruising life at gntsailing.com. We'll catch you next time.
Mexico is Sexico!